fingers crossed, preparing to live stream. All right. And then I have to mute myself once it comes up. Otherwise I hear an echo. See, I'm learning a lot today. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
All right. Okay, so I'm muted now. All right.
So it's a go now?
You're good to go. So hi everyone. So it's me again. So thank you if you're in the last session. So thank you for joining. I have today Peace Lee. Am I pronouncing it right? Peace?
Correct. Yes.
And Salithia Bell from Georgia State University, who will be guiding us through the financial aid process, specifically the FAFSA and the CSS profile. So I am going to shut up now and allow my colleagues to take it away. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so very much. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peace Lee. I'm the Associate Director for International Admissions at Georgia State University. My colleague, Salithia Bell, and I are excited to be part of the International Education Week with Education USA Jamaica. So today we will cover the financial aid and scholarship session. Since we only have about 30 minutes, so I will turn to my colleague, Salithia Bell, to start the presentation. And then at the end, I will cover some scholarship information at Georgia State University. Hopefully we'll have about 5 minutes to do a Q&A session. So just give me a minute. Let me go ahead and share my screen so everybody can see us. Give me a thumb up if you can see us.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Sounds good. So let me see how I do. Can I see my screen? Here, let me a minute.
All right.
Sorry about that. Okay, show from the beginning. Now showing again.
We were able to see. Yeah, we can see it. It's good. Yep. All right, perfect. Oh, well, good afternoon here. It is afternoon here, guys. Thank you all for attending. My name is Salithia Bell again, and I'm going to be co-presenting with my colleague, Peace. We are from Georgia State University. So deciding which institution beyond high school, what post-secondary education you all want to receive, your major, what your program of study, all of that information is so important. But equally important for many of our students and families is the financing piece. How are you going to fund your education? I've highlighted some very important information that I want to share. Yes, I am representing, or I am from Georgia State University, but I promise you this information is applicable. I will highlight where it relates directly to Georgia State, but I want to provide you guys with a wealth of information that you'll be able to use anywhere you decide to attend. So I'm ready, Peace. So in finding money for college, I am going to talk about the federal aid process. My colleague is going to end and she's going to provide some admissions information, share scholarship information. We will be able to answer what exactly is financial aid. We will be able to say who can receive the funds, how do you apply, after you apply, what happens next, and where can you go for more information. Exactly what is financial aid? And I will have to be honest in defining this because it's often a misconception of what exactly financial aid. Any funding that is used to assist in financing your education is considered financial aid. It could be money from the government, other organizations, and it's used to kind of assist with covering any type of college expenses. The funding can be free or money that you have to repay. So what I want to highlight would be gift aid. Your goal should be every year to secure as much as you can in gift aid, because we all know with the gift, it does not have to be repaid. It's considered free. Whenever you have the opportunity to be awarded any type of grants or scholarships, it could be a grant from federal funding that you're eligible for. It could be a scholarship from the institution you are attending, your parents' place of business, maybe an organization that you've been affiliated with for many years. But these should always be at the top of the funding option in securing financial aid because it's considered free money. Financial aid also includes work study. This is my favorite. As an undergraduate student, this assisted me in my path and not having to call and ask for funding from my parents. But federal work study allows students opportunity to find an on-campus job, able to work no more than 20 hours a week. So you may have the flexibility in your schedule. Maybe you only have one class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you're able to work in the library, different departments, and you're able to work no more than 20 hours a week. And the pay depends on the actual department. I have about 8 federal work study students that work in my division in student financial services. And these students are paid about $10 an hour, and they receive a paycheck every 2 weeks, just as if they were working outside. So this is an excellent opportunity. And last, I'm going to give you information, and we're going to explore more and talk about loans and what they look like. The FAFSA. How do you apply for federal funding? The website studentaid.gov is the one application that we require at Georgia State. I am going to give you a little information shortly after this slide about the CSS profile. But at Georgia State, we only require students to submit the application. If there are students that are seeking funding, possibly starting in August, which is our fall term, the application is actually available. It became available October 1st. It's the 22-23 free application for federal student aid. This application opens every year, October 1st. This is the earliest opportunity. And I love this opportunity because it gives students an early start on the financial planning piece. Years ago, and I've been in the financial aid arena over 20 some years, 23, 24 years, it used to be that you had to wait until after your parents filed taxes or the first of the year. But the form is now available every year after October 1st because it asks for asset and income information from the family from 2 years prior. So any students that, going to be starting in the fall, the FAFSA is very specific in asking for income from 2 years prior. But what if that's changed, you ask? What if I'm no longer in that income bracket? There are provisions set where the financial aid can be reevaluated and modified. But I want you guys to know it's available every year. I always encourage students to print the confirmation page. We are in the age of technology. Errors occur. We may not electronically receive the information. This confirmation page allows us to be able to review the information, provide a status if we, for some reason, have not determined eligibility. Make sure that you apply as early as possible. There are always deadlines. Some of the funding awarded at institutions are on a first come, first serve basis. So in summary, the Department of Education allocates every institution a limited amount of funding. Priority is always going to be given to those students that apply early. So check with each and every school you may want to attend and ask of their priority deadline. Our priority deadline at Georgia State is April 1st. Remember, the FAFSA opens October 1st, but we encourage students to submit that application by April 1st. Make sure that you use the live help. You're unsure how to answer a question. There is help available because delaying and errors will cause students to lose out on funds. This is the CSS profile information. Some institutions, some mainly private institutions, we do not use the CSS profile at Georgia State, but the CSS profile provides additional information, mainly income information to determine if the student is eligible for any institutional funding. There may be scholarships only available to certain students at certain schools, and they use this to dive or dig a little deeper into your family's income to determine if you're eligible for funding. It's available every year, same as the FAFSA October 1st. So I would say to you guys to make sure you check again with each school so you will determine if you need to submit the application. There are fee waivers, just like there are fee waivers to submit an admissions application. Check with your guidance counselors, your high school, because they may have available waivers that will allow you all to submit this application or this form, because there is a cost associated with the CSS profile. So check with the school, determine if the form is required. If so, make sure that you work with your school. So what are the requirements? Which students are eligible for funds? Our students have to be a US citizen or permanent resident. I'm putting the emphasis on our student. If you have parents that are undocumented, absolutely okay. The Federal Department of Education is asking about the student. If there is a parent and they're asking for the parent's social security number and there's an undocumented parent, all zeros should be listed and indicated on the FAFSA, but the student must be a US citizen or permanent resident, have graduated with a high school diploma or GED, admitted. So even though you have not yet been admitted, I still want to encourage you guys to submit and apply for federal aid, but we can't determine eligibility until you have been officially admitted in a degree-seeking program. Students must again have a valid social security number. Males who have reached their 18th birthday are required to meet selective service. Now, let me say for this past 21-22 academic year, because of all of the COVID-related incidents, there were provisions made where the Federal Department of Education actually waived male students having to be registered with selective service. I can't promise, and I don't know if that will be an option for next school year, but for this year, our students were waived this requirement. All students must meet what is required: satisfactory academic progress. Check with each school. What does that mean, Ms. Bell? In summary, you have to do well. You have to come to school, make good grades, and do well in order to receive federal funds. These are common errors. I'm just going to briefly go through this. You want to avoid errors when submitting the FAFSA: incorrect social security number, divorce or separated or parental information. Quick example: your parents are divorced, but you have a step parent that's now in the household. Biological parent, mom or dad, and step parent information should be on the FAFSA. Income earned by parent or step parents, again, untaxed income, household size, number in college, tax filing status. These are some of our very common errors. And I advise you guys, if you're unsure, check with the school you are attending or the federal processors, because you want to delay as best you can in making errors, because errors will actually cause you to lose out on funds. So that's very important. These are just the 5 steps. You first complete the FAFSA. When you submit the FAFSA, you have an option to select 10 different schools. Each institution, whether you are admitted or not, will receive the information, is received by CPS, the central processing system. They then will submit the information to each school that you've listed. That school will review and determine if you're eligible for federal aid. Now, again, remember, you have to be admitted. Some students are randomly selected for a process called verification. What is that again, you ask? Verification is just the school having to verify information that's submitted on the FAFSA. When you guys submit the FAFSA, you and your parents, questions are asked. How much did you earn for a tax year? How much did you receive? How much did you pay in child support? If the student is selected for verification, the institution will be responsible for collecting additional information. Once that's reviewed and satisfied, the student receives a financial aid award. So this just is to let you guys know what the process looks like and how you go through the process in being awarded federal aid. Cost of attendance, I just want to kind of briefly go over this formula. A lot of times students are not aware of how much they're eligible to receive in funding. Cost of attendance is a combination of what we consider direct and indirect costs. Your direct cost is always going to be tuition and fees, and if you are living on campus, you are responsible for those charges. But also in the cost of attendance, we include living, personal expenses, how much to get a haircut every twice a month. But all of that makes up what we consider the cost of attendance. If you are attending maybe a private or an out-of-state student, that cost of attendance may be higher. So we take the cost of attendance, we subtract what the family can contribute, contribute, and the difference is considered financial need. So just kind of remember this formula, but in this formula, all I want you guys to remember is the responsibility is tuition fees, and if the student is living on campus housing. Those other components are used to kind of help maximize what a student can receive in funding. As we go through, just Federal Pell is our largest grant program that's available to students with the expected family contribution between 0 and 5847. That's for our current year. Expected family contribution, how is that determined? How can you all determine what my family can contribute towards my education? All of the questions on the FAFSA, the income, the household size, what your parents paid in taxes, all of that information, the Department of Education using a formula to determine the expected family contribution. For this award year, 0 EFC, meaning the students with the lowest EFC are or were eligible to receive a max of $64.95 in Pell. Federal Pell Grant, remember, is gift aid. It's a grant. It does not have to be repaid, but the enrollment, if the student is full-time, three-quarter time, or half-time, as well as the EFC determines how much a student is eligible to receive. So that's a little information about Pell. As we go through, not to spend a lot of time on loans, but I want you guys to research and know the difference of the two types of loans. There are two types of student loans, the subsidized and unsubsidized. The subsidized is always going to be favorable because the government pays the interest on that loan while a student is enrolled. So as long as the student is enrolled at least half time, interest does not start accruing until 6 months after graduation. Unsubsidized is slightly different. It doesn't depend on if the student's parents are both doctors. Need is not a determination, but with the unsubsidized loan, interest does start accruing. Plus is a parent loan for undergraduate students. It allows students or the parents of the students to be able to borrow. Let's say the amount the student is eligible for does not cover all of the financial needs, the room and board, tuition and fees. This gives the parent opportunity to apply on the student's behalf. It is credit-based. And then there are private loans as an option as well, where the student or the parent can apply from their own banking institution, and it may be a private loan. This is just an example of a first-year student and how much they may be eligible. $3,500 is the max in the subsidized, additional $2,000 in the unsub. I will say this amount that's indicated is for the year. So half is available for fall, half is available for spring. All of that is not for one term, and it's typically 2 semesters in one academic year. We determine the cost of attendance minus any other aid the student is receiving is how much parents can apply for in the PLUS loan. Scholarships, again, this is gift aid, gift funds that do not have to be repaid. They can come in from a variety of resources, academics from the school or the institutions, athletics, extracurricular involvement, leadership work. Always check private scholarship searches. Check with your parents' place of business. Ask if they have any scholarships that you can apply for, because your goal is to always secure as much as you can in gift aid. This is additional help available for you. Studentaid.gov is where you go to submit the FAFSA for free scholarship search. Also, for 1-800-4FED-AID, you're unsure how to answer a question. You know that, you live with mom, but do I use my dad? This is a source, or you want to go to 1-800-4FED-AID for additional help, because the goal is to make sure that you are providing accurate information. And I think that will probably conclude my portion, and Peace will take over and provide some admissions information that you guys can use as you go through your admissions process.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bell. So I'm not sure how much time we have here. I know we're very, very short.
We have about 8 minutes, and we have 3 questions in the chat. So take it away, Peace.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm just gonna go as fast as I can about Georgia State and some scholarship opportunities, okay? We are a tier 1 research institution located in downtown Atlanta. As you can see here, some rankings for us. Number 1, undergraduate student teaching. So we are focused on our undergraduate level, not only like many other tier 1 institutions focus on the graduates, focus on the research. from the PhD level. We let our students involved with the research, involved with entrepreneurial connections since year one. Also, here we have 11 academic colleges and schools. Many students actually from our Caribbean regions are interested in business, biology, computer science, information systems. We even have students in nursing, pre-law. You can see there's one is the Honors College, which is the top 7% of our students for their freshman year getting to the Honors College. Most international students who get into the Honors College will be entitled to additional funding. Just remember, there are two types of scholarship. One requires application. The other one is automatically considered. For Honors College, the students can apply something called a presidential. The presidential scholarship covers $20,000 towards your tuition fees, housing, whatever you need in addition to your family funding. Also, Georgia State has a 2-year campus. There's very, very few universities in the United States among the almost 5,000 higher education institutions have a 2-year campus. Georgia State have a 2-year, offers 33 pathway programs. The reason we offer this one is really as open access to our community, to our students. Students who are not getting to the Atlanta campus were also recommended to attend Parameter College first year. Upon you completing 30 credit hours, students can transition back to the main campus with a scholarship if they have a 3.3 GPA. We have over 400 student organizations, 60 over study abroad programs, and also 16 Division I athletic teams. Now, if you are interested in applying, not like many other universities, Georgia State will not only look in your overall, we're looking at your core GPA. So a lot of students say, hey, I have done very well in my English, but I'm not really good at any other subject. We are evaluating students overall the 5 areas: English, math, natural sciences, social sciences, and foreign languages, as well balancing with SAT or ACT score. So if you are a high school graduate wanting to study at Georgia State University, you apply as a first year or freshman student. For the main campus, you are required this year, starting this year, according to our Board of Regents policy, you are required to provide SAT or ACT. We do provide international students SAT or ACT waiver due to the pandemic, if that is due to financial challenges or other natural disaster reasons you cannot have access to your SAT or ACT. You can email our office and request a SAT or ACT waiver. Now, I want to go through some timeline. Starting August 1st, when the application opens, right now is the month of November. November 15th is the Honors College and Presidential Scholarship application deadline. If you apply by November 15th, you will get a decision by December 15th. The final application deadline is April 1st. However, no scholarship or any other financial aid is guaranteed. The final deadline for international students, we make it is May 1st. The reasons because a lot of international school system did not finish until end of May or end of April. So I covered some of the information. I'm not quite sure if we have time for any additional information or questions at this time. Dr. James?
Okay, so I have one, Jahil Letford. Real quick, he said he has been in love with Georgia State University since he was introduced to it. What are some advantages that can be used by international students and some tips for applying for financial aid and funding?
So I would like Ms. Bell to answer some financial aid questions. I would then jump in, share some other experiences.
So what I would strongly encourage you is do we have the link or possibly the website piece for our international student services? We do have an area, international student services, and their goal is to help as many of our international students and they may be able to provide more information on funding. I will personally say I know a student here recently, international, that secured a grant for about $5,000 that he'll be able to use for spring semester. So if the student or if you all are international, you will have to probably want to reach out to our International Student Scholars Office, because unfortunately the federal government has limited funding to either eligible citizens or US citizens as far as federal aid.
So I want to share this website. I can share this with you later through Dr. Jones as well. Is admissions.gsu.edu is our main applications page. When you get to admissions, in addition to the ISSS that Mrs. Bell mentioned, there is another admissions page that says financial aid. When you click financial aid, you will lead into this two section. One is federal aid, that's mostly for US citizens or green card holders. However, there's this section for the scholarships. Okay, so you can see the top academic scholarships that covers, that's what I mentioned, the presidential, the Achieve Atlanta, and also there's something called, this is the most international students are getting, called out-of-state tuition waiver. So, without the tuition waiver, out of state, like people from Alabama, New York, California, applying for the universities in Georgia, is the same rate as international student applying in the United States. So the tuition and the fees is about $27,000. With this out-of-state tuition waiver or the scholarship, we call it Campus Atlanta scholarship, you will be able to move from $27,000 to $9,000 a year. So basically we cover the $18,000. However, this is a merit-based, means we are qualify you based on your academic qualifications. GPA has to be 3.6 to entitle for the 18,000. If you have a lower than 3.5, 3.6, 3.3, for example, you will be entitled to 9,000, 50%. So this is a very useful website. You can come over here, even you can search. We have many students they didn't get the scholarship upon admission, but after they admitted, they use this website to do a search on other current scholarships as well.
All right, thank you, P. So I'm going to read two more questions and then unfortunately, guys, we have to wrap up. So does Georgia State accept CAPE? That's the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination.
Yes, ma'am, we do. Actually, that treated as AP or IB. We do two things, okay? One, it will be transferable towards your college credit. Second, that will help you with your GPA bump up your 1 point. For example, if your CAPE score is a B, when we do the evaluation, in-house evaluation, one of my colleagues will read all the Caribbean applications. We bumped your GPA from a B to an A. So if you are taking AP, IB, CAPE, your GPA will be rounded up. We call it a weighted GPA.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Last question. Does Georgia State offer a BS-MD program?
Georgia State don't have medical. We do have pre-medical, pre-dental, pre-pharm, pre-vet. So we have a lot of pre-professional programs. However, we do not. There's only 2 public institutions in Georgia actually offers medical school, along with one private, which everybody knows, Emory University. However, this is about the same. In the United States, you go to the undergraduate, study pre-medical for 4 years. Most international students major in biology, biochemistry, neurosciences, for example, and then you pass the exam, get entered into the medical school. After finish your medical school, you will to pass your another interview exam to be placed into your residency. So those are long, I would say 11 years ahead. Requires a lot of funding, effort, and personal experiences.
I bet. I can just imagine. All right. So any final words of advice for students before we end?
Can I start really quick?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure.
So I want to encourage all students, whether it's us, Georgia State, we hope to have you. We love our international students, or if it's another institution, do great, make good grades, especially with the funding portion. We are easily able to assist students if we can look and see, oh, they're doing well. We can assist with books. So go do your very best, make great grades, engage with the institution. contact them, ask, what is it that I need to do? Am I on staff? Am I on track? That's important. We have some students come and isolate themselves. Third, if you need help, ask for help. We are in the business of making sure we provide all of the assistance to every student, but ask. It could be something that you think, I just need this one biology book. I just don't have the funding. We may have funding to help. And lastly, if there are any parents on the line, please help your student. A lot of times they don't know what we think they know, and they don't know what they don't know. And the support from family and friends will allow us as a team to get your student through this educational piece. So those are my words, and I encourage you guys to, I hope you benefit from this presentation, and I hope you're able to learn and take away some important information.
Well said, Mrs. Bao. I
Thank you,
think
Salithia.
there's nothing to add from my side. I just share the screen. Always, like she said, stay in touch with us. If you have any questions, always email us. So at least this website here for financial management as well as admissions. So good luck, keep in touch, and let us know how we can help you.
Thank you so much, Peace and Salithia. So guys, join if you're interested in studying at St. George's University. Their information session is starting right now as I end this session. So thank you all so much for attending, and I will see and speak with you all soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Take care.